What's going on, homies? Welcome to the Cracked Soccer Podcast, episode number 8. 8 or 9?
8. It should be 8.
Okay, sorry. I thought you had 9 fingers there. Episode number 8. We are live. Today is Monday, April 7th, 7-ish p.m.
Yeah.
Today I have good friend, Fernando, Fern, Jimenez. Say what's up to the people, Fern.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be back home in my regular setup, so I don't look as dark, or I guess it's not as dark around me anymore. So happy to be back, though.
I know, man. That what was it? You're at the Ritz-Carlton, bro? Is that what you're staying at, dude? I mean, it's hard to say goodbye to that place, right?
Yeah, it was only $10,000 a night, so.
Dude, only you would do that. Only you would do that. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad to see the normal setup. My name is Angel, Capitan, Reyes, and we will be discussing what happened this last weekend, which was some crazy games, as always, but record-setting games, which will be really, really fun to talk about. But before we do that, before we get on with that, we have to, and I'm so excited to bring up the leaderboard today.
What leaderboard? I thought we stopped talking about that already. That's my fault. I took last week off, apparently, so.
You think so, man? Oh,
Yeah.
don't do me like that, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Bum ba da bum.
Yeah.
Oh! I thought it was up top, man. I guess I'm wrong.
No, because you and Lopez were on the same amount of points, so you guys he stayed one up, I believe, right?
Dang.
I think
I don't know. I had. So let me see. Let's just go over this really quickly. This last week, you and Lopez picked 6 correct picks, right?
I thought you picked.
No, I had 8.
You had 8.
I had 8 correct picks. I thought from my math.
You are right. I messed that up.
From my math, that's why I was so excited, my guy.
Oh.
From my math, I was up by 1. I was taking the top, and then since you and Lopez got 6 correct, and you guys were down.
Hold on. I got you. Look, it's gonna happen in real time. Don't you worry.
There
you go.
Hold up the leaderboard.
That's right there. It's updated already.
Goodness,
yeah,
look
you
at
are
how
up by
fast
1.
you are. Oh my goodness. 43 for your boy. Okay, Reyes up on the top, and we're just gonna call it. We're done. The leaderboard's gone. Everything is good. We're ending it on week 7. 43 correct picks. Last week I had 8 correct picks.
Oh, I guess week 7. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I had 8 correct picks that week, which was pretty sweet. Don't know how I did it. Don't ask me how I did it, but I did it. But right behind me is Lopez, starting to make he's staying up top, man. The guy he has too many correct picks. I don't know what he's doing, but he's freaking good at calling stuff. But he's in second place with 42 picks. And then Fern, my guy. I mean, I asked you last week, but I'm gonna ask you again. What are you gonna do?
I am gonna be better. I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna go look right now to see what. I don't know. I feel like Nashville should have done a little bit better.
You know what you're going to do?
What?
It doesn't matter. Everybody's laughing at you. Everybody's laughing at you, Fern. That's what's going to happen.
It's over for me, bro. The New York Red Bull screwed me over. Chicago Fire should have been playing better, but yeah.
Yeah, man, I know.
I'll take the laughter. I deserve it.
Well, it is what it is, man. I mean, at the end of the day, there's still... I mean, how many... I don't think we've decided completely. Is it 38 games that they each play? Is it 38 weeks? I don't remember exactly how many it was, but I'm just saying there's probably like 30-some games still to be played, 30-some weeks left. So I'm just saying you got plenty of time.
There's 34 rounds, so 34 games.
Okay. So a little bit less than 30 games left, which is okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I could just win, or you could come up and beat all of us. Or Lopez, Mr. I've never really been into soccer, Mr. Novice over here can just take the whole thing. Who the heck knows?
Bro, I don't know. This is too much. I'm telling you, it's those games where I'm like, hey, this team has to win, and they don't win, which we'll talk about later on today.
for sure. Some crazy stuff happened, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's the leaderboard. That's where we're at. Going straight into the next segment, everybody's favorite, the correct performances of the week. Fern, kick us off, my guy.
You already know who I'm picking, bro, for my crack player of the week. It's going to be...
Hold on. Who are you picking? One second.
Diego Luna.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I was there live. I watched the game. Got there like 5 minutes late of the game. It's fine. Yeah,
Typical.
you don't need to be there on time anyways.
Come
No,
on, bro. The
traffic was a
tailgate.
bit crazy. We should have been there on time, but the traffic was a little bit crazy,
Dang. Okay.
surprisingly for Salt Lake, or I guess Sandy. But no, yeah, Diego Luna's my crack player of the week just because I was there. I watched him do his thing. He got some pretty. I mean, he scored.
Yeah,
He did.
for
He
sure.
did his thing, and yeah,
Dude,
I
I
can't. I
agree.
can't say. I can't say more. He's definitely Real Salt Lake's best player, and
Yeah.
I. I can't think of his name. Who the number 10 for Real Salt Lake is right now off the
It's like
top of my
Diogo
head.
or something.
Yeah, it's
Diego.
Conclaves. He's all right. I don't want to say much, but go watch the highlights and you'll know what I'm talking about. But he had a pretty wide open goal that
Oh
should have
yes,
gone
he
in.
did.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness. I think we
um,
even texted each other
yeah,
right when that happened.
I
I can't
literally
believe it.
texted you about it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
no, it
I mean,
was.
Diego Luna balled out at the end of the day. I do believe
Mhm.
too. I'm not sure. Did you see this at all? I think Pochettino went out and he was in Salt Lake City watching him. Did you see any of that or no?
They didn't put anything out on the stadium. I was using my phone camera to look at the stands and see if I could find them, but I couldn't. I
Nothing.
couldn't see them. It's not very good. I should have brought out my binoculars, but no, I couldn't see them. But yeah, I
Nice.
mean, he.
The only reason I bring it up is because the announcers on the TV said
Mhm.
that he was there just to watch Diego Luna,
Yeah.
which would make sense because obviously he got some time during the Nations League, and
Hmm.
obviously they wanted to get him, more as a starter. It's a good time
Yeah.
to go watch him.
Well, he definitely. That's what me and my friends that were there. That's what we were talking about. I was like, he wants to show Pochettino that he's ready to play and to be the starter. I don't know who's necessarily playing in his position, but I can't imagine there's too many good players playing for the U.S. men's national team in there. I feel like it's a lot more of seniority that the U.S. men's national team have right now versus like having the best players play. But
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
yeah, and I mean things could always change. I mean obviously they didn't have the best showing at the Nations League, so they definitely got to
Mhm.
change some things up. So, and you
Mhm.
mentioned that at the couple weeks ago. If you got to
Mhm.
put Diego Luna in, you got to put him in, man. The guy's playing very well.
Yeah.
Good pick for your correct player.
So my crack game of the week was actually San Diego versus Seattle, just because San Diego has been playing so well, and I didn't. I thought it would have been maybe a bit of a better game than 3-0, just because I've been so high on the Seattle Sounders and they've been one of the best teams um, in the league, but maybe that Jordan Morrison injury is affecting him a lot more than you might think, just because it seems. I guess I can't really say they're not scoring goals, but yeah, it's not the best showing from them in the last couple. Yeah, see, they haven't scored a goal since last week, and it was a tie. So yeah, one
Yeah,
goal in 4 games is not a very good showing, and it shows that Jordan Morrison helps him a lot.
yeah, for sure. The guy's very good up top for sure.
Yeah. And my pour one out was actually for my television because Inter Miami did not beat Toronto. And honestly, yeah, I don't think they had the best showing. They probably should have lost that game. There was a couple shots where they should have been able to score. Like I think the guy that had his debut, Alan Obando, they just recently acquired him and
Mhm.
he made his debut. He had a pretty good chance at goal, but he kind of ruined it with just a little bit too much of a touch that it got away from him, and the goalie was able to catch it. And if he wouldn't have had that touch, he probably could have either gone for the shot or just laid it off to Messi to his right, who was wide open. So
Dang. Yeah, that is a sad one. Obviously, I don't know what kind of TV you have, man, but I'm sure it's in pieces because that was the deal. So if
yeah,
you didn't break your TV, man, I'll
I
find
have
out.
I have to get a new phone too because I threw my phone at it. So
That's all you say, but your phone is ringing. I heard it a little while ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
that's my flip phone.
Yeah, it's your work phone. It's the work phone, guys. It's the work phone. Nice, man. Well, good. Those are solid picks, brother. I will go ahead and take mine. So my correct performances of the week, the game that I enjoyed the most high scoring game that happened this last weekend, San Jose versus DC United, man. 6-1. My guy. 6-1. Hard to come back from.
You
But
know what?
obviously,
I was so shocked seeing that scoreline, bro, because I was like, DC United is not the worst team ever,
no,
but
they're not.
and then
No.
especially with the way that San Jose has been playing these last couple of weeks, I did
Mm-hmm.
not expect that at all.
No, exactly. I think it was honestly pretty crazy to see. But I do think, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast beginning of the season, I said, hey, look, San Jose is a good team. They're a very good team on paper. They just got to figure it out. They got to make sure that they're kind of in that rhythm so they can score these goals and kind of make these teams like say, hey, we got to play really good defense just to beat these guys. And I think that showed, right? The cool thing, right, is I think we mentioned this last week too. A bit of a remake of the inaugural MLS game. Very first game to ever be played in the MLS was San Jose versus DC United. Back when, little trivia question for you. Do you know what San Jose's name was during that first game? It wasn't San Jose Earthquakes. Do you know?
The annoying part of this is I don't remember what I was watching or what I was looking at, but they were literally talking about the San Jose and what it was before, but I can't think of. It's like
Oh,
rattlesnakes or something like
no,
that.
no,
Oh,
no. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-letter word, and it starts with a C, and it happens a lot in California. Well, maybe not a lot, but I feel like it would happen a lot, just given that they have a lot of these things that could have this implication.
see what the
And the answer
to
is
quakes.
it was the San Jose Clash. By the way. San
Oh.
Jose Clash, back when they were the San Jose Clash versus DC United.
I feel like
The reason,
LAFC should change their name to the Clash.
dude, don't joke after this last week. You never, I mean, jeez. But yeah, San Jose Clash back in the day, 30 years ago, right? But even 30 years ago, San Jose beat them 1-0. So this was a completely different game. San Jose obviously beat them 6-1. Hats off to them. This directly correlates with my correct player of the week. It's going to be Joseph Martinez. The guy scored a hat trick during this game. Not only that, not only did he score a hat trick, but he solidified himself as the sixth highest scorer in the MLS. Hats off to him. We got to give him some love here, and that's enough. Obviously, solidifying himself as the sixth highest scorer in the MLS, right behind Jaime Moreno, Jeff Cunningham, Leonard Donovan, Kai Kamara, and the lone at the very, very top, Chris Wondolowski. So hats off to him, man. The guy's been balling out. Obviously, you kind of have like some of that, like, oh, maybe he's gonna do pretty good in this team, but maybe he's not. But obviously, he's doing okay. I mean, he's like we mentioned, pretty bad games over the last maybe 4 or 5 games. For them to kick it back off this week and for him to get a hat trick, it's a sigh of relief, right? Like, hey, we can get back on track. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's go after it. So, hats off to you, Joseph Martinez, correct player of the week for me.
Ooh,
bang bang.
that's
Crispy.
good. Yeah,
Come on, crispy baby. Let's go. So good on him, man. And then for my pour one out, I'm gonna have to align with you with Miami, but I'm gonna pour it out for Toronto because I think they just missed. Like they could have beaten the number 1 team in the MLS. Well, who we consider to be maybe the number 1 team in MLS, and they easily. I mean, I wouldn't say they easily would have done it, but they were hungry, man. And they're definitely one of those teams where we said, "Hey, look, they don't look good whatsoever." Like past few weeks, man, they just haven't been playing very good at all. And then for them to play like that versus Miami, I mean, dude, coach ain't getting fired at this point.
I think Messi's hockey just gives some power to
Ooh.
everybody around him, you know. But no, yeah, like you said, there was this sequence where I think they had like 4 shots, something like that, and then the last shot was like off the post and all this. So they were definitely wanting to score. I don't know what it was. They couldn't, honestly. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those games where like nothing goes your way because they definitely should have won that game. And I'm trying to think what's his name, Bernadeschi. Yeah, Bernadeschi.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he played a really good game, and I feel like he probably should have been able to score like a hat trick or something that game. But
yeah, for sure. And I will say, goal of the weekend has to be his goal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? Did you see his goal that week?
Yeah,
dude, absolutely sick for him to dribble like that. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many of the viewers like have actually played soccer before, but like to be able to pull that off, like what he did, like your legs are just on fire during that run, and for him to finish like that, man, absolutely insane. Hats off to him for that goal, and then also hats off to, and I don't remember his name. He's a defender for Toronto.
Gomez?
I believe it was. Maybe I don't remember. Like I said, I don't know his name, but like towards the end of the game, I think it was like the 80th, one of the 80th minutes. He saved Toronto's chance of a point. Like if he didn't stretch out like he did, 2-1. You know what I mean?
That's actually that same sequence I was telling you about where Bondo touched it a little bit too much, and then like the goalie kind of like missed it. and then he still had that chance, but the defender, like you said, he stretched his leg out and he was able to get it. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It was a good game. I mean, at the end of the day, Sunday night soccer. Obviously, if you got Miami, if you got Messi in the headlines, people are going to watch. Maybe not as high scoring as maybe some people would have liked, but there was a lot of good chances there, a lot of great players. Hats off to them. But I am pouring one out for Toronto. Sorry that they missed the chance to upset a really good team. At the end of the day, Columbus and Miami remain the two unbeaten teams in MLS. Hats off to them.
oof,
Going off of that, obviously we'll get into some headlines here. A lot of cool games that happened over this last weekend, but really quick before we kind of get into the next bigger headline here, we will like to say, hey, Zimmerman from Nashville, hope you're okay, homie. Bro, that was the gnarliest kick to the head I
oh
have seen. And
man,
I've seen some people be knocked out, bro. But that was scary, man. We hope you're okay, bro. I hope everything is okay. Like obviously we saw some headlines that he's already out. He's
yeah,
responsive. So good on him. But I will say that I feel like that is kind of what turned that game, the Nashville game, and made Charlotte
yeah,
win after
yeah.
that happened.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like game, like because it's like a freak injury, but and you're not gonna end the game over something like that. It's kind of like it's hard because then like you just like witness somebody you spend basically like your entire week or like these months, these games playing with. You just watch this dude like take a freaking kick to the face and just he literally like was in the air and just fell down and
Yeah,
it
dude.
was crazy. I That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And like immediately everybody just starts like
Yeah.
get the
As soon
medical
as
staff over here. So
Yeah, as soon as you see the guys going like, "Yo, come
yeah,
over,"
yeah,
it's freaking serious, bro. It's
yeah. So
absolutely
no,
insane.
but
So
it's good. It's good that he's recovering. So hopefully he can get back out there and keep doing what he likes to do. And
yeah,
wish him a speedy recovery.
yeah. The second goal that was scored, that
Yeah,
Charlotte scored, the celebration was that
yeah.
he did do like the put to sleep. I
Mm,
don't think
I
it
don't.
was intended for that. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think it
don't.
was for that.
Yeah.
Whoever thinks that that's what happened, I don't. I'm pretty dang sure.
I'm just like pretty much saying like putting the game to sleep or
Correct.
something like that.
Correct.
I doubt there's like that much like you would have to
Animosity,
hate
like
somebody. You would have to hate somebody really bad to make fun of them because of that.
yeah,
And that there's I don't think because I did see that kind of going around people saying
yeah,
like oh he's so mean or like
yeah,
there's other words people are saying but I'm just
yeah.
like bro I'm like there's no way like I
Oh
can't
yeah.
picture somebody wanting to do that but yeah no.
Yeah, I think it was, misunderstood,
Mm.
misinterpreted, obviously, but not the best time to
Maybe
do
maybe
that
maybe he's a
celebration.
Steph Curry fan or something like that, I mean, he does
Oh,
do
I think
that.
that's what people are
Yeah,
saying too. Maybe, huh?
yeah,
So
so
who knows? But at the end of the day, like we said, hope he's doing better next time. Whoever that scored the second goal is, think about the celebration before you do it next time. But we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see what happens the next couple weeks here.
unfortunate coincidence, so
Exactly. Big headline coming up, obviously, this week, man. The CONCACAF Champions Cup. We've been talking about the CONCACAF quite a bit. Obviously, lots of good games, but this last week, I mean, two snooze fest, bro. We had two games that just 0-0, which was insane to think about. Club America versus Cruz Azul and Galaxy versus Tigres, 0-0 for these games. So going into this week, I mean, it's level, man. It's up to anybody. But tomorrow we do have Tigres, Galaxy, Cruz Azul versus America. Tigres, I believe, is home. Cruz Azul is Cruz Azul home or America? I don't
mm,
remember. I guess technically, like that's a little bit of like, hey, doesn't really matter because they're both kind of like in Mexico City. So but I do think Tigres is home. Look at your takes first. I mean, Tigres, Galaxy, Cruz Azul, America. Who do you think is going to the semifinal, dude?
honestly, so I was watching the Real Salt Lake LA Galaxy game, and after RSL scored the first two goals, the game just kind of became still boring. And especially like being there and watching the players play like in person, I just feel like I can see like not to say it like in a bad way, but I can see why they're so bad this year because they literally like I was watching them play and they were playing like they were tied. There was
Oh,
no
jeez.
passion. There was
No.
no aggression. Yeah, exactly. But no, literally, like I just felt like RSL's passing the ball around. They're kind of just like jogging up to him, doing this, doing that. And if that's how they're going to be playing tomorrow, then I don't see them winning this game because I just feel like they need more something. I don't know what it is, but I mean, yeah, they're missing their three best players. Peck wasn't there; he's injured. The players that are there, I feel like they just need to be able to give that passion out there. Like you want
Yeah.
to play like you want to win. Because like I said, after those first two goals, it was just see like Peck, Royce, and Puig are all out. So yeah,
Yeah.
if they can, actually seem like they want to be there, then I feel like they have a good chance. They're not a horrible team because they won last year. They can't be that much worse this year because they lost a couple players, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we'll
For
see.
sure.
But I'd probably put Tigres over them just after the game I witnessed, and then
Yeah.
um,
I think anything can happen in this game too. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
LA Galaxy has a lot of guys injured. I didn't even know Gignac was injured. I guess I didn't see
yeah,
him in this last game, so that's a big guy that's out. So, obviously that kind of like adds to some of this that's a little bit tough for Tigres also. But at the end of the day, man, I think this can really go either way. I will say Tigres, I will agree with you. Tigres probably should win this game, especially with them being in Mexico. But
mhm.
again, Galaxy, I mean, if they for some reason pick it up and then they just get a goal and they just, park the bus, like who's to say they don't win? So, but I do agree with you. Tigres, I will go for Tigres in that one as well. What about for Cruz Azul versus Club America, the 9:30 game?
So something I noticed is I feel like Club America. I don't watch their games. I honestly I don't watch them. I don't watch a lot of Liga MX, but I have noticed that for some
Mm.
reason, if they don't do very well in the first leg, they usually rebound and do a lot better in the second leg.
Mm.
From some of the games I've witnessed. So if I had to go with one or the other, I'd go with America. I know that'll disappoint my friend Brian because he's a big Cruz Azul fan, but he has to know that they're not very good. So I'm gonna have to go with America.
Yeah, it's not a bad pick. I mean, their top dog, Henry Martin, is out. I mean, an Achilles, bro. That sucks. But he's like their top guy. I think he's one of those guys for Club America that, when he plays, I think everybody just kind of feels that sense of, hey, we got this. I could be wrong. I don't know too much about, Cruz America. Like you mentioned too, I don't watch too much Liga MX. Club America at the end of the day is a really big club, really good team. I think they can get it done with whatever team they have. But Cruz Azul, man, I mean, look at their form. I mean, they're doing pretty dang good. I think, they're fighting. I think, they've had their moments of, hey, we can get things done. They have choked. I think they've been like deemed the choke artists in Liga MX for quite some time. But this could probably go either way as well. You're going with America. I'm going to go with Cruz Azul. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll kind of see, them kind of come up and, make something happen. But at the end of the day, I think in the back of my head, I still kind of want to see that Club America versus Miami final.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be upset, obviously, if America wins. But
Yeah.
for this game, Cruz Azul,
And
let's see what happens, man.
just to clarify, I looked it up, and this is a home game for Cruz Azul.
Okay.
And then so
But
I
really,
guess.
this Club America is kind of one of those teams where I feel like wherever they go in Mexico, they're gonna draw people. They're like
Mhm.
when people bring up the whole thing about Mexico playing in the United States, like at the end of the day, is it really a USA versus Mexico type of a crowd, or is it really just a Mexico crowd?
Mhm.
Uh, I think America can draw that too. So it'll probably be
Yeah.
a big game. Probably a lot of people there, a lot of America people there too as well. So who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah. And I always tell people I've been an America fan since I was a child because
Stop, stop.
my uncle's a really big America fan, and I guess when I was a little kid he got me an America jersey. So there's literally like a picture of me as a little kid with an America jersey on. So
Dang, dude, that's crazy,
I
bro.
always say it just to piss my friends off because they hate America.
You're like a New York Yankees fan in baseball.
I'm a Dodgers
Jeez.
fan. I bought one LA hat
Okay, that
once,
makes
and
it
now I'm
worse.
a Dodgers fan. Now I'm a Dodgers fan. I bought one LA hat.
There it is, man. That's funny, bro. Okay, and then to end it off with the CONCACAF Wednesday, and then this will be the end for that, and then it'll be looks like till the 22nd, 29th, and then the final obviously going to be on the 1st of June. But for the next game on Wednesday, Inter Miami versus LAFC and Pumas versus Vancouver.
No, Pumas. You know about
Dude,
that?
no, I don't know
I'm
about
gonna have
that.
to. I'm gonna have to show you later.
You have to show me, dude. I don't think there's a question here for who you're going to pick, but they're going in down. They're going in down by one to an LAFC team that just recently lost to Houston Dynamo, dude, which is kind of nuts. But I mean, I don't think I have to ask, but I'm going to ask who you got with Inter Miami versus LAFC.
Honestly, I feel like Inter Miami was the better team last Wednesday. And I'm not just saying that because I'm like biased or whatever. No, I did like the way they played. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch the full game because for some reason they decided to make the game at 9:30 p.m. start time. By like, oh yeah, yeah, but by 11 it was still going. Like the second half
Dang.
had only been like 10 minutes in. I'm like, I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta go to sleep. And they were already down 1-0, and I'm like, worst case scenario, they lose. Best case scenario, they come back and win. And they won. And I believe, I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I think that what was it? What's his name? That young guy for LAFC. I feel like he should have had
Oh yeah.
a red card.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
watch?
It's
There
Martinez
was
that you're talking about, but I didn't watch that game. No,
no,
I was with you too. I think it was late.
yeah, yeah, no, it was super late. Yeah, Ordonez, Nathan Ordonez is who I'm talking about. But
Oh,
there
that's what
was
you're
like,
talking about. Oh, Martinez is
yeah,
also like he's like 19.
yeah, no, it was Ordonez. I think he started because somebody got injured. But there was like this play where like he came up and he kind of just did one of these to the player's face,
Ooh.
and most of the people were saying it should have been a red card. And I mean, whatever the ref decides. And the crazy thing is, he's the one that ended up scoring the game winner. So
Oh, for real?
yeah.
Dang.
So I feel like Miami played a bit of a better game. They did get that one shot off. So I'm hoping that this coming Wednesday, Inter Miami come in with a bit more pace and try and get those goals in, and I don't know, just figure out how to get past them because they do have a really good goalie in Hugo Lloris.
Hmm.
And I mean, Messi's put two past them already in the last
Yeah.
game they played, or 2 games ago now. So I don't see why he couldn't do it again.
Yeah, I mean it's a good analysis. Obviously, you're going for Miami, right?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, I think I didn't really watch too much of it. I think I did watch some highlights at the end of the day, but obviously, if you want to beat Inter Miami, you got to really take off the wings, right? You really got to take off the wide players because I think a lot of what Inter Miami likes to do is they want to spread the ball as much as they can, and then I don't know if you've seen this, you probably have. They spread it out wide, and then they have people pushing up front as much as they can to kind of look like they're going to go in for that center, and then lo and behold, Messi kind of holds back. They can
Mhm.
pass the ball back to Leo Messi. Easy goal for the guy every
Yeah.
single time, or at least an easy shot for him every single
Yeah.
time. I think if LAFC wants to win this game, that's what they got to do. It's going to be tough, I think, 100% for LAFC going into this because they're going to be in Miami. Inter Miami is probably going to be saying, hey, look, this is a must-win game for us. They're going to start all of their guys. Messi's probably going to play the full 90. And I think it might be too much for him. The only way that the Inter Miami loses this game is, and you mentioned this a couple weeks ago, is if they shoot themselves in the foot. They've been better past 4 or 5 games maybe, where they haven't had a red card or any sort of situation to where people get way too heated. But if something like that does happen, where for some reason Inter Miami has 10 for a majority of this game, I'm taking LAFC. But with everybody healthy, with who they got going on right now, with the momentum they have, I'm going to
They
go with Miami.
my other concern too with Inter Miami right now is Calendar is coming back from injury, so I mean, he played good, but he's still like a little bit rusty. He kind of has to get into the like the rhythm of everything. So
Yeah.
I'm just hoping. I mean, I don't know if they'll play him or not. I know last game they played Ustari, who was their
Mm.
starter up until last game. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know if
Yeah.
they'll want to switch up too much.
Yeah, it'll be a good one to watch. I mean, 6 o'clock. I mean, we all should be able to watch this one, so it should be nice and easy. The late game obviously is going to be a little bit more interesting if we end up being away for that one. But we do have Pumas versus Vancouver Whitecaps tied on aggregate, but Vancouver does have some people banged up here with Jaden Nilsson as well. But they look good. I mean, this last week against Colorado, I think they've shot up in terms of the rankings. They're really kind of almost that team to beat in the Western Conference at this point, just with how hot they've started. They are going to play in Mexico. They're going to play, a relatively healthy Pumas team. They did lose to Cruz Azul, it looks like, but they have a couple, no
Yeah,
wins under their belt really recently. They have just one against Leon, but they've lost to probably a very good Cruz Azul team and a very good Monterrey team, which both of those teams are usually pretty good. Honestly, I think this can really go either way at the end of the day. But just given the form that Vancouver has, it's hard to bet
yeah,
against them, man. They're just playing so dang good. So I'm going to go with Vancouver, even though they are in Mexico. And with all the injuries they have, I'm going to go with Vancouver. But I'm curious
yeah.
what you have to say on this one.
Yeah, I would also prefer Vancouver just because I feel like they've been playing a lot better. They're the number one team on the East right now. I believe they overtook Miami. If I'm sorry, they're West.
They're West, dude. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure they're West.
They're West. Yeah, they're West. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's Columbus Crew that took over Miami. That's
Oh
my
yeah.
fault.
Mhm.
But either ways, I'm still picking the Vancouver Whitecaps. My only thing with that is there is away goals in the Champions Cup. So if they want to win straight up, they have to score a goal and make sure that basically they can't tie 0-0.
Yeah. They
And
have
if
to
they
get a
want to
goal.
win without going to penalties or anything, they just got to make sure that Pumas doesn't score, or else they'll have to score that extra goal because they'll be tied again. So, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So they'll
I do think Vancouver will win.
yeah, because obviously if they go into this game and they go 1-1, then that's when it
Mm-hmm.
goes to penalties,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, overtime and then
Yeah,
penalties, and
right.
then
Overtime
yeah.
and penalties. Yeah, I mean, hopefully Vancouver, wins. I mean, at the end of the day, another close one,
Mm-hmm.
I think. But the thing that does scare me is that injury report. But
Yeah.
we'll kind of see what happens. At the end of the day, the CONCACAF Champions Cup, pretty dang good teams. Kind of potentially going to the semifinal, and then obviously it looks like there's going to be two. Is it going to be a home and away? Home and away. Is that what's going on here? Yeah, home and
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
So two
I think
games
they
for the
do
semis.
semifinals and then they do the finals, just one game.
Let's
But
see.
if CONCACAF wants the bees going, they better get those refs on Messi's payroll.
Dude, I know they really do.
Mhm.
It doesn't even say where they're playing. Do they play? I'm curious if they play in a set location or if it's going to
I
be
I believe
home.
it's a neutral.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Yeah, I mean, if it's neutral, great. If it's not, if it's like, hey, whoever was the top seed kind of going in, then okay. But we'll see.
I wish the MLS did more of like a neutral
Yeah.
place, Which I
Hmm.
mean, it's nice because like if you if you're the top dog, you get to play at your home and stuff, which is nice because then you have all your fans. But I feel like it'd be nice to be able to like give other areas that maybe don't have the opportunity to get championships there.
Yeah.
Like you can go see the MLS final and stuff like that instead of kind of. I feel like that might even help expand things a little bit, being able to go see a final instead of having to travel all the way to
Yeah.
whoever's in the finals.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this one. This will be cool. We'll probably post some stuff on Instagram on the story there. Give us a follow on the IG if you haven't already. We try to post as consistently as we can on there. So we'll just continue to have those things on there. On to the next little headline here that I wanted to do. Specifically just to kind of maybe give you a couple questions here, Fern, have a little bit of fun here. I found a cool little headline. This is a Sports Illustrated article. Kind of cool, but it said 5 things that have changed in the MLS over 30 years. So kind of cool to kind of see this and kind of see like what some of the things were that were going on during that first season in the MLS that obviously are no longer a thing, in the modern day league. But to start it off, the first thing that, was kind of interesting to me, there was something that they almost did during the very first game in the MLS, right? It was the San Jose Clash versus DC United. But if you think about, and I'm trying to give you a little bit of a clue to see it's not too hard of a guess, but during the game, they wanted to have something, I guess, visible to everybody in this game. What do you think they wanted to have on the field so that people could see and potentially help this league, gain more popularity? Something that you can see while you're watching the game, while you're there live in person in the game. What is something that obviously you don't like, doesn't ever happen in games, or is not technically like allowed in games, and something that you probably would have think, oh yeah, they probably would have wanted something like this in the first MLS game ever. It was something they wanted to do on the field, and it would have been visible to everybody.
And it's during the game or
Correct. It would have been seen during the game.
like a ref camera or something like that?
It's a good guess, but no. Remember, this is 1996,
Yeah.
so that would have been like some crazy giant.
He's just over here running around with a big camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
But something that, like,
96.
when you're watching the game, like when you're on the pitch, on the field, it's very like this is always on. Like it's always the same thing. But what's one thing that you would have seen on the field
I don't know. Maybe
that would
they
have
like
been totally different? Like would have thrown you off.
change the color of the field or something like that.
Close, very close. Final guess, or one more
Yeah,
guess?
no, I can't think of anything.
The first game almost had a logo in midfield.
Uh,
So it said, While MLS
Yeah,
did not adopt
yeah.
full FIFA laws of the game until 2003, the
Hmm.
idea of having logos on the field
Hmm.
wasn't one that obviously was kind of like well
Hmm.
accepted, right?
Yeah.
So they said the night before the game, I saw that they had this huge logo. So literally the night before the game, they had this huge logo in the middle of the field, and I said, and somebody from that was in the whole team kind of like helping put this thing on. He said, I think that's a problem. And the organizer basically said, "What do you mean?" And the former DC president said, "You're not allowed to have markings on a field." And he goes, "Oh, that's our first game. That they'll let it go." And so basically they said, "No, you can't do that." So literally overnight, they had to like take this thing off.
Was it like a company's logo or was it a team logo?
I'm not
I
sure. It
don't know. I'm
said,
not
let's see, the
sure.
referee came to inspect the field, and he goes, "I'm not refing the game." While that's on there, so they ended up not having to. They ended up having to spend the whole night trying to figure out a way to get it out of the field. This article doesn't specifically say what it was, but it wouldn't be surprised if it was like a business logo or something.
Yeah.
But I think that's hilarious that they thought they could get away with putting a logo of some sort in the middle of the field for the very first game. Like, talk about some balls, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I like that didn't even come into my head because I couldn't imagine like having something on the field like that. I guess on the
Yeah,
it makes a bit more sense for like the NFL because the ball's in the air, but when you're like
right.
passing it, you're gonna lose it. The logo is gonna be like an Apple logo and the ball's white and you lose it
Yeah,
halfway through.
yeah, I know. It's just funny how they would think about doing that. Where
Yeah,
obviously in soccer, like the field doesn't change. The field is like the same grass field everywhere. But obviously, like around the field, you have those like business
yeah, like the
logos
logos
and stuff, and
stuff.
then they
Yeah.
have the whole green screen thing, and then they can like
Uh,
change them from the TV. But
yeah,
obviously, they didn't know about that, so
yeah.
kind of funny to see. But that was one of them. Another thing that was kind of funny, and this was about kits and team names. A lot of teams today they use like so and so FC, so and so SC, or even like Inter so and so. Right? I'm just curious. I'm gonna give you a couple of like the states' names, the teams, and I'm gonna have you guess what their name was before. Right? Obviously, it's different today, but before in the very first season, what do you think that they were? So Kansas City was not Sporting Kansas City. It was sport. Sorry, it was Kansas City. What do you think?
Well, I don't even know Kansas City corn. I don't know. I don't know what they're popular for out there. The Kansas
No,
City Soccer Chiefs.
soccer Chiefs. No.
No,
One more guess.
City
It's like
Lightning.
no, no, but it's not a terrible guess. But no, it's so funny because the names were so like old school. But the very first name it was Kansas City Wiz. So not even Wizards, but it was Kansas City Wiz.
Wiz. Such a weird
So
name.
kind of a weird name. And then I'll give you two guesses on this one. So obviously today it's FC Dallas, right? Football Club Dallas. Um, Dallas, that was not their first name. It was Dallas blank. And it kind of goes with the whole Texas theme. If you've ever been to Texas, something in Texas is always
Dallas. No, I kind of
it's
want to say
constant.
Rangers, but that's already a
No.
team. The team
Think
of
about let's give it away. Think about like when you go to Texas, you're typically dressed in a certain way because
Dallas Cowboys. Oh no!
no,
What?
no,
Oh,
no. That's not a terrible
yeah,
guess in
no
terms of like
Cowboys.
that's how they're dressed. You're dressed a certain way because there's not a lot of shade. I hope it doesn't like.
The Dallas Suns.
It's close. It's close. But it was a Dallas burn.
Burn.
The burn.
Nasty name.
Dallas
Nasty
burn.
name.
So that's kind of a funny name. And then obviously I think we gave this one away at the very beginning. San Jose, before they were the earthquakes. Do you remember? Or did
Clash.
you already
Yeah,
forget?
Clash. No,
Okay, yeah.
Clash. Yeah.
San Jose Clash.
Clash of
Um,
Clans.
yeah, there you go. And then obviously New York
Hmm.
City FC football club, right? Very very traditional type of a way to call a team, but they weren't that before. It was actually kind of, and this was kind of funny, I think. But it was the New York slash like New Jersey
Hmm.
blank, and it has to do with things that they have underground, I guess.
The Subways.
Close is close, but what's another word for like subway? Like what's another saying people will say?
I don't know. I'm thinking like rails, but I feel like that doesn't. That's not
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. Basically, it was the New York slash New York, or sorry, New Jersey Metro Stars.
Metro. Oh my
Metro, the
gosh.
Metro Stars. Kind of funny, dude. It's honestly kind of it's kind of hilarious. But then the last one that the name has obviously changed. I don't even think we have. Yeah, there's not even a team. But they used to have a team in Tampa Bay, Florida, and it was the Tampa Bay blank. Any guesses?
Is that where Pele played by chance?
No, but
No.
that's a good guess. It was there used to be a different Miami team, but that's different. This was Tampa because Miami was it was different. But I do remember that name too. But for Tampa Bay, it was Tampa Bay blank. I don't think you're gonna get this, but I'll give you one guess.
Tampa Bay Battleships.
No, I guess I don't
Was
even
it?
know if that's close. To be completely honest with you,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's somewhat relevant, but it was called the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
I knew it was something. It had to be something with pirates. I just assumed because of the Buccaneers.
Yeah, maybe
But
right.
yeah.
But just so we're all clear here, mutiny um, definition is an open rebellion against the proper authorities, especially
Mm,
by soldiers or sailors against their officers.
yeah.
So, kind of cool. Kind of like pirates, right?
Such weird names.
I know. But also just the Miami one, I think that you mentioned, I think it was like the Cosmos or
Yeah,
something
that's
that
what it
used to be back
was.
in the
Yeah.
day. But that one was kind of cool. But just kind of cool to see, obviously a lot of team names have changed over the past few years. And then obviously the third one, the next one that to kind of come up, something that was very, very, when you think about old school Major League Soccer, old school MLS, you always think about this and how they did this and how different it is with how it is today. And it's something that happens once the game is over.
Are you asking me about the run up like penalty where they
Yes.
they
Yeah.
like was it did they line up at like the halfway line and then they like ran up or was it closer than that?
Yeah, it's actually on the 35-yard line,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
a little
Yeah.
bit outside of the goalie box,
Hmm.
but something that was very unique. Obviously, the to MLS was the shootout, right, and the whole like goal
Hmm.
and goal type of a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've all seen that footage of like, hey, these guys used to do penalties from the 35-yard line, and you had like 5 seconds to score, and that was the shootout. But I
Hmm.
also here's something that I didn't know. It says here if teams were level after 90 minutes, so I'm assuming regular season games, like
Hmm.
not
Like
playoffs, right?
playoffs, yeah. Hmm.
It said which had no stoppage time and ended in a buzzer. The ball would be placed 35 yards from the goal, and a player would have 5 seconds to score on the opposing goalkeeper. Teams that won the 5 round shootout would earn 1 point in the league, compared to 3 points for a regulation win. So even if they won the game, they only got 1 point.
That's weird.
Isn't that crazy, dude?
Yeah. And I did look it up and it was actually the New York Cosmos, not the Miami
Oh,
Cosmos.
New York. I thought it was Miami for some reason.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense, though. Okay.
And
That's
then
cool.
that's crazy that you go a whole game, you go to penalties and then you only get 1 point.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of ridiculous. And then the fourth one, something to do with, this is a little bit harder to kind of explain. But every sport has a different blank, and everybody has different sizes to this. Don't get any funny ideas. um,
What
yeah, it's hard to explain without giving it away.
the
Um,
first thing that comes to my mind is like the size of the goal. Is the size of the goal and
oh,
stuff.
okay, that's a good guess. I'm gonna say here's what I'll do. I'll say you're correct, but that was the next one.
Uh
So I'll give you I'll just give you this one, the fourth one. But basically, the last thing that they kind of like were trying to do with the MLS was make goals bigger. Actually,
uh-huh.
they thought it would like allow more goals. They wanted to have like instead of throw-ins, they wanted to have kick-ins. They wanted to do like four quarters instead of
Uh-huh.
halves.
Halves.
And then one of the big things was like, hey, why don't we have bigger goals? We'll have more goals. It'll be more exciting.
Yeah.
And basically, like when they took that to like FIFA, they were like, "What the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you guys are freaking crazy. We have never changed the rules, and we're not starting out anytime soon." But yeah, the bigger goals was definitely one. And then
Hmm.
just to give you this last one, the fields have actually grown.
Oh.
So kind of crazy to see, but like I guess it says when the MLS launched, the legal minimum length of the playing surface was 50 yards by 100 yards long, and it says in present day it's at least 70 yards by 110 long. So a little bit of regulation here and there,
Mhm.
but just to kind of give it some context there, Montreal Stadium, Club CF Montreal, their field is 120 yards by 77, and the smallest is actually New York City's stadium, and the one in Snapdragon that's only 70 yards by 110. So,
Is it New York City FC? Is that the one that's the
mhm.
smallest? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably because they play in
smallest.
a baseball
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, dude, I just wanted to share those with you because that was just kind of something interesting that I read that I was like, dude,
Yeah,
like how far have they come, man? Kind of
yeah,
insane to look at.
yeah. At least the names changed. I don't like the names honestly. Some of them were pretty cool, but the ones you told me,
It is funny though, but I mean, even back in the day though, some of those jerseys were just kind of like those retro '90s. Like they were
mhm.
pretty cool. So I mean, maybe they can do some a little more retro stuff, which is kind of cool. But some of the names were a little bit like, okay, come on, what's going on
Yeah,
here? So, but anyways, that's for my segment. I do know we wanted to briefly touch on two more subjects. First one being some transfer talk that you may have been seeing. Anybody know? Anybody know? And Fern, do you want to tell us who's been potentially looking at coming to the MLS?
yeah. I mean, I did see something earlier today talking about how Kevin De Bruyne might be interested or might prefer a move to the MLS instead of the Saudi league. Just for his family and stuff. And one of the teams interested in getting him would be Inter Miami CF. And yeah, so hopefully they get him. Honestly, I feel like Miami's midfield would definitely improve a lot more. But the one thing I did see is they already have all their designated players, all three of them, which I believe it's Messi, Busquets, and Alba are the three designated players. Um, so I don't know how that would work, especially with like their season ending halfway through the MLS season. Like, are you able to like this player is willing to restructure his deal so he makes less money and is no longer a designated player, and then this player comes in, or how they would go about doing something like that. So I
Yeah,
mean, it'd be really cool to have Kevin De Bruyne playing, but I don't
yeah,
know. It kind of I don't know. I don't know how I would see him going to Miami because I do want it to be competitive. And I'm not saying like Inter Miami would then win everything, but it just seems like, they would have the best, in my
yeah,
opinion, they would have the best team in the MLS with,
for sure.
so.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be tough. I mean, I mean, it would be cool. If Kevin De Bruyne comes to the MLS, I think it'd be really cool to see. I have a hard time believing that he'll go to Miami just
Mhm.
because of like what you said, right? The designated players are already filled. And I got a feeling a lot of the guys on there are not going to want to renegotiate and have lower wages. Seems a little bit weird. But, I think if he does come, like Inter Miami could be a very cool spot. I'm sure he's attracted to kind of like the lifestyle and just kind of how Miami is. But I think a better fit, and because of the GAM available, I think New York City would probably be a little bit better for him there. And obviously, it's more of like probably an easier transition given that they are a bit of a sister company to Manchester City. So I could see that a little bit better than a Miami. I do know Miami is probably going to do whatever they can to try to get Kevin De Bruyne, but I can see him in New York. I can also see him in Los Angeles. Whoever team, I think he originally was looking at going to San Diego, but I'm sure they have the same thing where
Mhm.
they got Chucky, they got Dreyer, and they probably got a couple others that they really can't move around.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Real Salt Lake, you guys got some money. I know we probably don't got enough to pay him, but at least give it a try. Listen, give all the GAM we got available. Offer it to Kevin De Bruyne. I know it's cold here. I know it might not be the craziest nightlife in Utah, but give it a shot, man. I mean, you never
He
know.
he
Come
wants
visit.
he wants to come here for his family. Utah is a great place to grow a
Perfect.
family. Um,
Perfect.
that's
Tell him
literally
more. Tell him more. Tell him
yeah.
more.
No, that's literally what I was thinking about when I was while I was watching the game. I'm like, Diego Luna's really good, but I'm like, and then I was like seeing some of the players like for LA Galaxy. I'm like, has RSL ever had somebody that like a big name like that come here? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
they definitely haven't. But most of the time the names are made here, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like they make their players here where they get big and then they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But honestly, you know what? Kevin De Bruyne, hit me up.
Yeah.
I'll show you around Utah. I'll show you around
Dude.
Sandy. So
Absolutely. Come
yeah,
over, dude. We'll We'll get a car. We'll get our cars, dude, and
Mhm.
we'll drive around. We'll show you the cool spots. We'll show you the cool hiking spots, man. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some nice houses out here that you can buy and luxurious, really nice houses. We have the parade of homes out here, man. Like, there's got to be a house you like here.
Yeah, bro. You
Gotta
can take
be.
you can take one of the temples if you want.
There you go. We'll designate one for him, dude. There you go.
Yeah.
All that to say, obviously, it would be cool to have him here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, RSL might be a bit of a dream, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then to cap us off, man, the last little headline, dude, crazy that Lionel Messi's breaking records again. What did this guy do over this freaking weekend, man? This guy has done some crazy stuff, man. In how many games?
29, I believe. I think he broke the record for most goal contributions, so goals and assists in Inter Miami history, and he's done it the fastest. Yes, I think it was 38 goals and assists or something like that in 29 matches. But yeah, he became Inter Miami's all-time goal contribution leader in just 29
Yes,
games.
that is correct. He has become Miami's all-time leading goal contributor in the MLS. 44 goals and assists in 29 regular season games, which is insane, dude. The next guy that was obviously that title that was being held was from Gonzalo Higuain. Obviously, Higuain, respectfully, great player, but probably wasn't, he was doing okay in the MLS, but,
Mhm.
nonetheless, he had that title. And so now, Messi, the GOAT, man, he's leading the charge over there for Miami.
I mean, two
Um,
Argentinians, number one and number two.
Yeah, very true. I mean, still a very young club, so who knows what will happen, obviously, in the future. But, if Messi keeps playing like he's playing, man, I mean, he could just be the guy that does it, and then nobody ever matches him in the future.
Mhm.
So you never know, dude. Kind of crazy to see.
Yeah.
But hats off to him. We'll give him some claps. Congratulations, Messi. Way to go. That's enough. The GOAT. It's funny that it says the GOAT on there. Alrighty. Anyways, those are some pretty decent headlines. We're going to go right into our picks for the MLS week. Week what? Week what?
Eight.
Week what?
Week 8. Week 8.
Week. Oh, going to
Ochociento.
be some interesting matchups here. Potentially, we'll kind of see. Let me pull this up for everybody to see as we do our picks. Do you have Chino's picks as well, my friend? Do you have them?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. All righty, to start us off for Saturday, we got Toronto versus Minnesota. Minnesota's been good, man. I mean, they've been on a bit of a hot streak. They haven't lost in their past 5 games. Toronto obviously hasn't been having the best record, but they did show out a little bit against Miami, and they will be in Canada. So who knows? They could win this game, but it's hard to bet against Minnesota just with the form they've been having. Less injuries as well. Give me Minnesota. What do you think?
I'm also going to go Minnesota. Although Toronto did play a pretty good game this past week, I don't see them turning their season around just yet. And Minnesota has been playing pretty good. They did beat New York City FC 2-1. So, yeah, I can. Yeah, and they were winning the entire game 2-0 until the last minute. So I'm going to have to go with Minnesota.
Nice. Who does Chino have?
He has Minnesota.
Righty, Minnesota's all around. Not too bad there. Next, we got Atlanta versus New England Revolution. New England obviously kind of been a little bit struggling there, but I'm just going to call it out. I did call this one here. I don't know how the hell I called that game, but I did. But obviously they're going to be a Mercedes. Atlanta with a tie versus FC Dallas this last week. A bit unusual, but again, I think you kind of mentioned this. A lot of times they kind of just, some of the games you kind of think people are going to win and then they don't. It is what it is. That's sports, right? But I'm going to have to go with Atlanta. It's going to be hard to bet against them in Atlanta, especially against a New England team that's probably not the greatest team right now. So give me Atlanta for this one. What do you think, Fern?
Yeah, I mean, you got lucky with that New England call a couple weeks ago, but I am gonna go with Atlanta United. And yeah, I mean, if calling games was so easy, all these gambling websites wouldn't be making any money. So I won't.
That is
It's not
true.
me. It's them.
Exactly, it's them. Who does Chino got for this one?
He also has Atlanta United.
Alrighty, there we go. Next up, we got Orlando versus New York Red Bulls. Orlando and New York have been a little bit the same, pretty much the same over the last 5 couple games. New York is coming off of a win against Chicago. I will say Orlando tied, but they did tie probably the third best team in the Eastern Conference with Philadelphia Union. I thought they played pretty dang well, even though it was a 0-0 game. They are going to be in Florida, so I'm going to go with Orlando. What do you think for this one?
I still think that the New York Red Bulls are one of the better teams this year. They made it to the final last year, and I mean Orlando. I can't say they're bad because they're not. They're not the worst team out there. I would say these two teams are probably very evenly matched. I could see it being a tie. But for the sake of the leaderboard, I'm gonna have to go with the New York Red Bulls.
Alrighty, New York. What does Chino have for this one?
He has the New York Red Bulls.
Alrighty, next up we got Montreal versus Charlotte FC. Who do you have, my here, for this game, Fern?
I'm gonna go with Charlotte just because
You liar.
Montreal's just because freaking Montreal's garbage.
Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
bet for him. I know. I feel bad, man. I feel bad. The thing that's gonna be hard though is gonna be that they probably are gonna have to win at least 1 or 2 games. I mean, even like in a really bad season, most teams will win like 8 or 9 games. Like you feel like you have to. So it's gonna be hard to say like, hey, which one is it gonna be? Who is it gonna be that they beat and get a win? Like it's gonna be hard, right?
And for you, it's
Jeez.
this week.
What?
And for you, it's this week.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. Charlotte like really only turned it on against Nashville at the very end. They did not look good whatsoever throughout the whole game. And honestly, like Zaha didn't look very good, man. I mean, he didn't play like it's amazing as I thought he would. He's almost like if you cut him off a little bit too much, he gets really frustrated. So I'm not sure too much about the Charlotte team, but Montreal is pretty bad. They did lose against Columbus.
I
So yeah,
mean,
I'm gonna have to
Columbus
go.
Crew is the best team in the league, so
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with Charlotte. I'm gonna have to go Charlotte on this one. Who does Chino have?
Charlotte. I was
Okay.
just trying to convince you to go with freaking Montreal. So
Well, if they win this next week, dude, I should have. That's what I'm just gonna say.
yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you to stop peer pressuring me. All right, next up we got DC United versus FC Cincinnati. Two pretty good teams, man. What do you think?
Just with the way that the DC United has been playing this last 3 weeks, I'm gonna have to go with Cincinnati. Um, I could be wrong. That's the way this stuff goes. But just looking at it, I just feel like I'm gonna have to go with Cincinnati.
Alrighty. Yeah, man. I can't believe they lost so bad against San Jose. They have been playing some pretty decent teams, which is probably why they've been losing a little bit here and there. But I think they're going to want to really come back from that last game, and they're going to have a fire under their butt. Cincinnati's very good. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to go with DC United. Hopefully, they can kind of start correcting their wrongs. FC Cincinnati has a lot of people out, so that might affect them going into this next one. But give me DC United for this game. Who does Chino have? Okay.
Cincin.
Nice. Okay, so then for the next one, we got New York City versus Philadelphia Union. I mean, I've probably bet for New York City just a couple times this season. I mean, I've probably lost every time I probably lost these past 2 picks actually with them. So, and Philadelphia is a good team. They only got one guy on the IR, so I'm gonna go with Philly on this one. But what do you think?
Yeah, Philadelphia's been one of the better teams this year. And I'm like, no, see, yeah. And they have the top scorer in the league right now, even though I don't think he's been doing the best these last few games because he's been on 6 goals for the last like 3 weeks, if I remember correctly. So he hasn't scored in 4 games, but I'm still going to go with Philadelphia just because they're the better team for me.
There you go. Who does Chino got for this one?
He is also going Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Nice. Alrighty. And for the next one, we got Vancouver versus Austin FC. Also going to be another interesting one just because Vancouver does play Wednesday or Tuesday or I forget exactly when it was. We literally just talked about it, but I already forgot. Okay, they play Wednesday. They will play Austin FC, who has a lot less people injured. Obviously, Vancouver is a very strong team, but it's going to be an interesting one here. Who do you have for this game?
I'm going to go with the Vancouver Whitecaps. I mean, Austin is a good team as well. They're one of the better teams in the league right now. But I just feel, it's that injury report, man. It's kind of, but yeah, I think I'm still gonna have to go with the Vancouver Whitecaps just because they've started off the season so well. I just feel like they can keep it going. So yeah, I'm gonna go Whitecaps.
Yeah, and obviously, they've beat Austin quite a few different times during all of their matchups. Yeah, obviously, like you said, the injury report is a little bit scary, but they are going to be in Canada and Vancouver. I mean, they're just on a roll, right? I think they're going to want to keep going, whether they win or lose for the CONCACAF. Like they're going to want to play very well against Austin. So give me Vancouver as well. Who does Chino have?
He has Austin.
Okay, so Vancouver, Austin. All right, next up we got FC Dallas versus Seattle Sounders. Man, this is an interesting one. Jordan Morris obviously still out. He could be back for this game. Probably not. He could be back, but who
It
knows?
says mid-April, so
Yeah,
might
I mean
be.
it's he could come up a little bit earlier. Who knows? They're going to be playing obviously in Texas, so this could be an interesting game. Man, Seattle looked so good at the beginning of the season, and now they're just really not doing very well. And then FC Dallas obviously kind of picking it up a little bit, and then obviously tying against a pretty good Atlanta United team. So pretty interesting to see that. Yeah, man, this will be a close one, man. This will be a pretty good game too. I will say, I think obviously Seattle has a very good team. I'm gonna go with Seattle, and I hope they can just kind of come back and start figuring their season out. So give me Seattle. What do you think?
Yeah, Chino did Sounders as well, but I just feel like what is that? One, two, three, 2 goals in the last 5 games is just not going to do it for them, you know. So I think I am going to go with FC Dallas. I wouldn't say I would still think the Sounders have a better team than FC Dallas, but with the way that the Sounders have been playing, unless Jordan Morris decides to come back this game, I don't see him winning, so I'm gonna go with FC Dallas
Got it. Okay, there you go.
or the Dallas. What was her name again? Oh, the Burn.
The Dallas Burn. Nice. I know that's a fun name. Nice. Next up, we got Nashville versus Real Salt Lake. Man, I've always got a hard time betting against the home team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll let you go first on this one. Who do you think for this game?
Honestly, mm, this one's a hard one for me because I want to go with Nashville, but I just don't know. They're playing at home. Yeah, you know what? Lopez did this to them last week. I'm gonna do it to them this week. I'm gonna go with Nashville.
Okay. Nashville. Who does Chino have for this one?
He has RSL.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna have to agree with RSL. I'm gonna try to go with RSL. I think it's gonna be a tough one, but given that Zimmerman probably won't be back for a while, I don't see him on here, but I'm gonna assume he's out for a little while. He's a pretty big defender for Nashville, and then obviously they crumbled against Charlotte after that injury. So I think he's bigger than we think, and this could be one of those games where it's like, oh crap, like we're a little bit stunned here. So give me RSL for this one. It's probably going to be a bit of a tough game for him, but I'm going to go with RSL.
I completely forgot that they lost Zimmerman, but I'm sticking with my guts.
All right, man. I mean, it's the podcast. If you want to change it, you can change it, but we're still here.
No.
All righty. Next up, we got Colorado Rapids versus San Diego. Dude, I think San Diego is on a freaking streak right now. It could be, I mean, obviously they're going to be in Colorado, so it's probably going to be a little bit of some cold weather there, but they've just been playing so well, man. I mean, 6 goals in the last 2 games. Pretty insane, to be honest with you. Yes, they have a couple people out here, but they have Chucky is healthy, Dreyer is healthy. Give me San Diego. I think they keep rolling, so San Diego for me. What do you think?
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just doing some math in my head. I'm going San Diego. I can't not go with them. They literally beat LAFC 3-2 and the Sounders 3-0. I feel like they're clicking. Chuck Lozano's back. He got his goal and his assist last game, like you said. And I just feel like they're starting to click a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm going San Diego.
Who does Chino have?
He also has San Diego.
San Diego. Alrighty. And then for the night games, LA Galaxy versus Houston Dynamo, dude. Interesting matchup, my guy, because obviously Houston Dynamo got that crazy 1-0 win against LAFC this last week. One more win than LA Galaxy this season. But, obviously, Galaxy has a game with the CONCACAF this week. Who knows what will happen there? If they win, maybe they'll want to win that tournament more than, this game. Or if they lose, they'll probably want to be like, hey, we really need to win a game. Man, it's a tough one. I'll let you go first. What do you think?
This is hard. Because it's those Wednesday No, they play tomorrow. They play tomorrow, so they'll have a few more days to rest.
Yeah.
But like I said, after seeing them live, I just have no trust in them. Honestly, at least until some of their better players come back. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like they have to win a game soon. So I'm gonna go against my gut, which is telling me to go Houston, but I'm gonna go with the LA Galaxy.
Ooh, okay, you're going with the Galaxy. That's interesting, man. I was actually going to pick the Galaxy too. I think Chino called it too towards the April. I mean, they gotta start picking things up a little bit.
Mhm.
And who knows, man? If they win this upcoming week and for the CONCACAF, could light a fire in their butt, and they're all of a
Yeah.
sudden like much more confident, and they can start winning some games. So,
I mean,
um,
looking at their injury report, it might be more of a May comeback than an April comeback. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of these guys coming up back in May. If they want their coach to stay in at all, that they're going to have to fight. So I'm going to go with LA Galaxy. Could we could be wrong on this one, but yeah, give me LA. What does Chino think?
he believes in the comeback.
Alrighty, there we go. Galaxies all around. And then for the Saturday night game, probably going to be a pretty good game to watch. LAFC versus San Jose Earthquakes. Both teams, with some wins, with some losses obviously under their belt as well. In California, I mean, they're both kind of somewhat home at this point. So, going to be a fun one to watch. I think LAFC has a better team here, but I could potentially see if Hernan Lopez comes back, and it's only an abdominal injury. I mean, uh, uh, if he comes back early, I think this could be a very different game. So I'm gonna have to go with San Jose. I think I've picked them every single game, but I'm gonna have to
Mm.
go with San Jose. So give me San Jose.
Yeah. This is hard. I mean, after what they did last week, you kind of got to go with San Jose, um, especially with LAFC playing Wednesday, and not only is it a Wednesday game, but they're also playing against Miami, which is one of the better teams. So it's not going to be an easy game where they can kind of just rest their starters and try and do
Yeah,
something about resting your players. So I'm gonna have to go with San Jose as well on this one, just because I just feel like they're gonna have a hard time recovering after Wednesday with that last game that they had. Their run was pretty bad up until this past game. LAFC is definitely a lot better than DC United, but maybe that gave them some confidence to be able to come in and do something.
yeah, for sure. Who does Chino have for this one?
As LAFC.
Alrighty, so LAFC and two San Jose's. You went San Jose, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then for the Sunday games, we got Sporting Kansas City versus the Portland Timbers. They're going to be in Kansas City. Both teams probably pretty good here. It's going to be a little interesting as well. This probably won't be. We'll see how many people actually watch this game. To be honest with you, I mean, no disrespect, but Sporting Kansas City obviously coming off from a win against St. Louis. I think that'll obviously kind of lift their spirits a little bit. Portland has been very good over these last 3 weeks. They've had some quite a few goals, but I think Kansas City keeps it rolling a little bit. So give me Sporting KC. What do you think?
This one's a tough one for me. I think I'm going to go with the Timbers on this one, just because I feel like they've been in a bit better form as of late. Yeah, I mean, Kansas City did win 2-0 last game, but yeah, I just feel like that's their one win for the next 3 weeks, so I'm going to go with the Timbers.
Alrighty, there we go. You have for that one?
You went with KC.
KC, okay.
I feel like every time I go against what you guys say, I'm wrong, but not this week.
Not this week, right? There you go. All right, and then for the middle of the day game, we got Chicago versus Inter Miami. Chicago didn't look very good this last week. They lost to Red Bulls. Obviously, they have very, very deep injury report here. I think Inter Miami is a very good team, man. I mean, they've only lost against the LAFC in the CONCACAF, so I think they're still very good. They're still that team to beat. So give me Inter Miami. What do you think?
This is one of those games where I'm a bit more nervous about because Chicago Fire is a good team. They have a really nasty injury report though. But same thought process with the Wednesday game where they're also playing one of the better teams this week is an LAFC. And like you said, Messi might play all 90 minutes. They're not gonna. This is you win this game or you go home, and they don't want to go home. So they're gonna try really hard. So I'm a bit nervous about this game, but I'm still gonna have to go with Miami.
Yeah, for sure. They're hard to bet against.
Yeah.
Who does Chino have?
He's betting against them. He's going with Chicago.
Okay, we'll see how that goes.
He should know.
Alrighty, and then for Sunday night soccer, the last game on the slate with St. Louis against Columbus Crew. I think St. Louis has had 3 losses in a row. Obviously, Columbus doing very well this season. They've been undefeated, so hats off to them. They only beat Montreal by 1, which is pretty crazy to see. But obviously, the injury report's a little bit more in their favor. They're undefeated. Yes, they're away, but they're a very tough team right now. And St. Louis has been looking pretty dang bad over the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to go with Columbus on this one. to cap us off for this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Columbus Crew has been the other, like you said, the best team aside from Inter Miami this year. And St. Louis isn't a bad team. I feel like they're a pretty good team. And my main concern is with the way the Columbus Crew has been playing, they're going to score goals. And with your number one goalkeeper being out, I'm going to have to go with the Columbus Crew winning. So,
There you go. If I'm reading this correct, they've only played each other once, and Columbus has
yeah.
won.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I didn't even know that. Pretty cool. Who does she have for this one?
He also has the Crew.
Columbus Crew. Nice.
Oh,
Alrighty.
the one game they played was in a Leagues Cup. It was a Leagues Cup
Oh,
match. It
really? So
wasn't
they've
even
never
a
played in
They've never played
the
in the MLS.
regular season. Wow, that's pretty crazy to see. Well, anyways, that's pretty sweet. Those are our picks. That is episode number 8 of the Correct Soccer Podcast. Any final words, my good friend Fern?
No, just thanks to everybody that's watching, supporting, liking our social media stuff, our YouTube stuff. We appreciate it. We're trying to bring out the best content we can. We're not professionals at this. We just started doing this. So I hope you can kind of tell our confidence and kind of our flow is getting a little bit better as we go through the week. So, but yeah, thanks for the support.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Thank you everybody for watching, tuning in. Obviously, we'll just continue to do these episodes, keep bringing you the best content that we possibly can. We'll try to do some, we're still working on some live streams. We're still working on potentially doing some, some vlogs maybe if we go out to a game. We're trying to go out to a couple games this year. So, we'll be sure to try to make some content out of those. But obviously, if you support it, if you want to see us doing that, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe on the YouTube. We are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube now. So, do all that, show some love. But as for us, that is it. That is episode 8. We out. Peace. Nice.